The cake candles burned down to stubs before anyone knocked. I stood in the kitchen, phone in my hand, watching wax fold into itself like a quiet apology. My son sat at the table, paper crowns slipping over one eye, pretending not to notice the silence. That was the moment something inside me hardened. Not cracked, set. I didn't cry. I cataloged. I remembered how this family once sounded when they laughed together, how my father used to call me his backbone, how my mother said my steadiness made her feel safe. I remembered the promises, "We'll always show up, family first, you're not alone." I believed them because belief was cheaper than suspicion, and I paid in advance. They met my son once, smiled for photos, called him our pride in group chats. Then they vanished into excuses, traffic, headaches, work, the kind of lies that wear comfortable shoes. My brother never missed a thing, though. His life was a parade. His milestones were national holidays. I learned the rhythm. When he needed, they leaned. When I asked, they delayed. The signs were there. I saw them and chose grace. Fewer replies, plans rearranged around him, money flowing one direction, praise hoarded. I told myself families bend. I told myself to be patient. That was my first mistake, confusing patience with permission. The birthday was the proof. No balloons at the door, no calls, not even the decency of an apology. I watched my son blow out the candles alone, and something older than anger rose in me. A promise, silent, permanent. 3 days later, my phone buzzed. "Dad, need $5,000 for your brother's graduation." No greeting, no mention of the birthday, no shame, just a demand dressed like a favor. I stared at the message and felt the last thread snap. Not loudly, cleanly. I saw the whole structure then. The favoritism dressed as tradition, the entitlement disguised as love, the way I'd been trained to fill gaps while my brother was handed trophies. I didn't reply right away. I never do when I'm angry. Anger is loud. Planning is quiet. I opened my banking app and sent $1. Memo. For your dignity. Then I changed the locks. That was only the beginning. I reviewed everything with the patience of a surgeon. The house was mine, legally, exclusively. I'd bought it before marriage, kept it separate, paid every bill. The spare keys they had? Revoked. The utilities in my name? Updated. The family phone plan I'd been subsidizing? Canceled. The streaming accounts they borrowed? Logged out everywhere. I didn't announce it. I let the silence speak. Next came the paperwork. I closed the joint savings account my father still had access to in case of emergencies. Apparently my son's heartbreak didn't qualify. I redirected my will. I set up a trust for my child that no one could touch, no matter how convincingly they smiled. I told my brother nothing. I didn't need to. He'd feel it when the money stopped arriving like rain. The calls started that evening. Missed calls. Voicemails layered with confusion, then irritation, then outrage. I listened once, just once. "You're being dramatic," my mother said, like that explained the empty chairs at my son's table. I deleted the rest unheard. A week later I saw them. My father stood on my porch, jaw set, entitlement polished. My brother lingered behind him, graduation announcements tucked under his arm like receipts. I didn't open the door. I spoke through it. "You embarrassed us," my father said. "No," I replied. "I corrected the balance." He demanded explanations. I offered clarity. "You asked me for money 3 days after you forgot my son existed. You didn't even pretend. So I stopped pretending too." My brother scoffed. "It was just a birthday." That's when I opened the door. "It was a test," I said calmly. "You failed." They tried bargaining, guilt, history, blood. I let them exhaust themselves against the truth. I told them the locks were changed, that the money was gone, that the days of my quiet compliance were over. My father's face aged 10 years in a minute. My brother finally understood. Without my support, his celebration shrank. Without my silence, their story cracked. I closed the door gently. Finality doesn't need force. That night, I sat beside my son as he slept, crown on the nightstand, cake wrapped for tomorrow. I felt lighter, not because I'd won, but because I'd stopped losing. I didn't destroy them. I withdrew access. Justice doesn't always roar. Sometimes it clicks into place like a lock turning. They taught me my value by how easily they spent it. I taught them the cost of forgetting who paid.